Hi, everybody. Monday on Astral Oracles, and welcome to a channeling of the Blue Pleiadians and looking into 5D personality and some of these, let's call them personality or individuation patterns that are moving into us and expressing themselves in human beings as we kind of develop and ascend. And it's partially occasioned by Carla, who sends us this lovely question that says, I woke up with a word emblazoned across my closed eyelids a month ago or so ago. It was Ayeke, and that's spelled Ayeke. I just have no idea why or what that means. I looked it up, and it appears to be an African surname. Can you help me decipher this? Thank you, and much love to you. And much love to Carla too, who has been a supporter through this journey. Thank you so much to Laurie, who has sent me magic minerals that I'm wearing and playing around with, Elven Craft and Shungite for protection, which can be helpful these days. There's a comet moving in, and we caught a second moon recently for a few days, and things have been very interesting energetically and astrologically, and so politically you might be seeing out there, like lots of weird stuff going on the planet, energies rising and volatility spreading. So with that, let's kind of tune into these higher dimensions, right? Because what Carla is asking here about this name seems to intuit these expansions of the Akashic records. And the Akashic records is the available information of the time space, and that's essentially our shared human overmind. So it means you can read all of this, and as you expand your awareness and become aware of more of your, we call it multidimensional self, but more of this soul recollection, this awareness of yourself as a consciousness that travels through lifetimes and incarnations, rather than a consciousness that's a part of only one incarnation. As you become more aware of this, you tap into more and more of this visionary content, or you're able to place it and frame it, because you can't really make sense of it unless it has the capacity to be translated into your experience. And that has different requirements, both physically, energetically, mentally, environmentally. So do you have the space around you to take that in? And that, I feel also in Carla's case, is what's going on, that it can reveal itself, because there's space for it to come in and be seen. And it's often in these twilight states that this information reveals itself. So it also sounds, from what you're describing, that you experience it much as I experience these visions, which is often written out. So I kind of see it, but I see it in code or in letters, and that's just a type of configuration which some humans tend to approach visionary reality, and that I'm also getting be a sign of some kind of relationship to the priesthood or the scribe configuration in your general Akashic pattern color. So you're tapping into this visionary content, and what you'll find is that a lot of these lifetimes have actually been more high vibrational, and have taken place in more high vibrational spaces. And one of them, for instance, are these ancient Nilot civilizations in East Africa that sort of run the spine or the course of the Nile. and especially in the Old Kingdom, and also in the eras preceding that, of which we have little historical record. But you'll find that a lot of these more high vibrational patterns, which we connect to also Atlantis, and which we connect to kind of the new human beings and the new vibrations we find ourselves in, that they are becoming active. And that's kind of where it's coming from, for you, I'm sensing. So a way you can tap into this is to set the intention, and it would be helpful for you to actually write out the questions, and you could even put them on a piece of paper. I myself wouldn't like having it under my pillow, but then you could put it on in a desk drawer, or under a book on a nightstand, or something similar, right? So it's kind of close in the space, but still that you feel you can sort of sleep without lying on crumpled paper, which is not necessarily a nice experience. So this is a way that you can work with it. And that's also to say that I kind of feel like a lot of the shift in what I'm being asked to do in the oracular arts is to really be very mindful that I'm always helping people to further and grow their own abilities to tap into this and receive the guidance they need when they need it, with the methods they need, because I'm basically just working for the other side, and they have all the information, and you'd like the information, and I like to transmit it. So in that way, it's a win-win-win, right? So if that can be balanced out, but of course the transmitter also kind of needs to shift, and once your link is established, that's actually what I'm here to do, right? I'm here to grow that connection for you. So I hope it has done so, and with that, I think I'll shift over, because there's so much information I'm also realizing about these new Akashic patterns, and the way, for instance, that these landscape configurations, way that seas and soil, they work together and come together in the places we are incarnated, actually repeats themselves in a lot of the ways that we then move about life. So if you are, for instance, connected to this Nilot ridge, this ridge of Eastern Africa, you might find that you are also in your life drawn to other great continental ridges, spines. So it could be, for instance, I know Carla lives in the Pacific Northwest, and that's of course another very remarkable continental spine, which runs almost from pole to pole, right? Right up there from the Yukon and down to the Tierra del Fuego. So you might notice that is some of your configurations are like these long energy trajectories, whereas for me a lot of it is this kind of the seas pushing soil up, and that's why I'm realizing like I'm so drawn to like these volcanic or single mountain islands, because that's a place where that happens. So I'll often be carried away, or even like just feel like intuitively, oh, I should go there, and then now it's turning out like that's essentially because the seas are at play in a similar way as they are in the places where I've grown up. So a lot of these patterns you'll see are actually very deeply connected to these deep energy configurations. And that's what we're going to consult these Blue Pleiadians on. It's on us becoming both energetically aware and becoming energy incarnate, energy beings, energy bodies, living light. So with that, I send you my love and appreciation. Much love to you out there, guys. Oh, and I also, if you're watching, I also got a PayPal relationship, not sorry, PayPal relationship, PayPal donation from somebody who was named De Silva at a last name, and that's connected to the Sylvans and the woods and everything. So it's always very nice to get some abundance that way too. Thank you so much, everybody, for all your contributions, material and immaterial, and for being on your own path out there. Much love. Greetings, dear human beings. It's a delightful, pleasurable experience for us to be able to transmit our energy into receiving hearts and souls which are receptive to the frequencies we offer and we transmit. And these frequencies, they aim to activate and restore you to life, to memory, to connection, and to eternity itself. We are the Blue Pleiadean Light Beings, or for short, Mil, the miles. That's the name that we're transmitting, Miles, and we are aware that it will be pronounced this way, miles, and we are also aware that human beings, and our friend here in particular enjoys layered meanings, puns, mysteries to unravel in words, and in the miles there is another one, because in really, what is the distance between us and you? Is it in space? Is it in time? Or is it in energy? You're used to measuring distance in space first, considering how far is it, and then you consider space to have time as a quality to it. How long will it take, given a certain amount of speed or acceleration? If I move at this pace, how long will I get there? And then you're used to collapsing that into a type of practical assessment. So a thing that our friend had pointed out to him, and then he noticed, was that when he was speaking to Americans, they often simply state the distance in what amount of time it will take them to drive there, because that is a way that they're used to assessing that distance and practically go about covering it. And so it's the data point that they know other people will want and treasure. But notice that it's actually a type of collapse of both time and space into a dimension of experience which is more energetically. And that is that, when you're given the amount 10 hours, you have an assessment of what kind of experiential framework can you then expect. What will you go about? How many stops will you make and have to make? And all these things which experience and the life you live tells you. And that is more energetically. So the distance in miles or in hours, is that truly what is going on? Are you accessing the strain, the effort, the attention, the application of yourself you'll have to put into it? because that is what we are showing you also with us coming here. And you will notice that we are in some ways latecomers in communications through channeling media, these forms of communications. Well, because we, the Miles, the Blue Pleiadean Light Beings, we have been with you in many, many shapes before, but this shape is one we take now because your vibration is matching ours, and our vibration is one also of encouragement, of dedication and application of your skills. And for that reason, we encourage dear Carla personally, who occasions this video for our friend here. We encourage her to explore this light because this lifetime she's tapping into, this Aike, well, this is a lifetime which is her last past lifetime, which remembered her incarnational trajectory, and that lived in the southern reaches of the flow of the river Nile. So we would say close to Lake Victoria and these areas down in Eastern Africa. And this lifetime existed or lived approximately 47,000 years ago. And she was a kind of star child, so she lived in several dimensions. But her bodily imprint was a three-dimensional one. So in that sense, she was worthless, but she was in communion with everything, and she remembered so dearly and fondly as she walked this earth, as a perfect extension of her soul and as a perfect extension of the vibration that was matched. So she was in that sense an avatar of one of our kind, or another Pleiadian being hailing from the star Maya, and which went by this name Ayeke. And so the African clue which Kala herself had sought out was one that, well, provided or captured a fragment or an offshoot of this energy, and then allowed for this fractal to reach complete and see itself. And that is what we encourage her to do. It is to begin to align with this memory of her incarnational past in other star systems, such as the Pleiadian ones, and also in other ecosystems and time frames, such as this one in Eastern Central Africa. These are encouragements. So you are finding, all of you, as our friend here also, that you are drawn more to energetic configurations. And often you will find there are places and spaces on the planet which resonate deeply with you. You also find often that you connect to people who have similar fractal patterns. So our friend here mentioned also Laurie, who is dear to him, and we know she resides in the state of Michigan. And if you were to look at the state of Michigan and the Jutland Peninsula, you would see that these configurations of the way that bodies of water interact and push up the soil into the sloping, hilly configurations of life. This is one of these energy patterns which has brought these two people in resonance. There are other resonances, such as those that, for instance, belong both to their relationship to certain existences in New England, and in particular in the wider Boston area in the 1700s, where, well, Laurie and our friend here were siblings in very puritanical family, and they experience quite a lot of hardships or penalties, punishments together. And so they are drawn together, and also an instinct of nurturing each other through the hardships. And so you'll see what you have called soulmates, and often interpreted as kind of individual completions, you will see are actually resonance patterns that cover these wider energy explorations of landscapes and the relationships people have. And that can be the sense, for instance, of being lost in landscapes and restoring a type of safety and connection to them. So we also know that both these people are drawn to this lowland coastal area of the Netherlands, Germany, Frisia, Denmark. And this has to do also with certain lifetimes. These are more connected to the 1300s and times at sea, toiling away, fishing, and trying to eke out a living. Again, fearing for the Lord, but seeking out His support. And our friend here is apologizing with him struggling with his vocal cords. Things are also going on and being reset at these physical levels, seeing as he conducts a lot of vibration here. It is necessary for these also to begin to resonate with new energies. And this is going on in all of your bodies on different levels, that you are adapting even more to the energies, the tasks, and the landscapes that you find yourself in. So take heed of the way that energy manifests, because it manifests so quickly in the physical and in other spaces. And that is your magic, your gift, and your challenge in these new atmospheres. So with that, we the Miles, we the Blue Pleiadean Light Beings, we bid you farewell with blessings and love with coughs and hiccups. We make it yet to the high angelic vibrations. So shall you, dear beloved humans. Farewell. That cleared the throat a little, and hopefully the ears as well. Much love to you out there, guys.